20 weird ways to use gizmos in Mario Maker 2. Gizmos are the most unique and interesting course elements in Mario Maker 2, and they can add a crazy level of customization. Today, we will look at some amazing and weird things you can do with them to have a bit of fun. Make sure to stick around throughout the whole video, because the ideas get even juicier towards the end. Mario receives a dire message from Jeff the Friendly Wizard that says Blue Toad is in trouble. Jeff's intel tells Mario that Toad is locked up in a thwomp jail in a mysterious and distant place known as Gizmo Galaxy. Jeff will have to use all of his magic to get Mario there, but then he will be completely on his own to find Blue Toad. Mario agrees to do whatever it takes to save his blue mushroom friend, and everything around him starts to disappear as he teleports. Mario appears in a seemingly calm and beautiful forest planet. When he touches the ground though, the grass makes him hop. He can't stop hopping until he gets to hard blocks on the floor. Every area of this forest has bouncy grass until Mario can trigger an on-off switch. He needs to solve small puzzles while working around the bouncy grass to explore this planet. To make this idea work, we hide twister gizmos underneath the ground at exactly the perfect distance to make them invisible but still cause Mario to hop slightly. There might be a better way to do this, but bullet blasters on slopes can drop the twister down half a block and make the grass bouncy while keeping the twisters out of view. Mario finds a portal to the next planet to explore. When he arrives, he morphs into a squirrel creature. Mario tests his new squirrel abilities and finds that he can cling onto walls. When he moves forward, he also learns he can cling on to bullet blasters. When he does, a thwomp smashes a seesaw and flings the bullet blaster up 6 blocks. Icicles allow bullet blasters to move through upward without breaking them, and then catch them on the way down. Mario will have to cling on bullet blasters and wait to reach higher platforms before flying again. He will have to use precise flying and press Z at the perfect time to avoid taking damage and falling into the uncomfortable grape jelly. If Mario can master his flight with the bullet blasters and other gizmos like conveyor belts and claws, he can finish his search in this area. Mario enters a planet where having your own plant is extremely valuable. If Mario can protect and water his plant, he can use it to discover more areas to find Blue Toad. Each location that he moves to has angry enemies that try to steal Mario's precious vine. He needs to stop predators before they can crush the pot holding the vine. If Mario's too slow, the plant won't grow high enough and he is stuck in this room. Luckily, vines inside blocks will respawn when the room resets. Mario needs to be quick to protect his plant to be able to search this entire world and leave it a little bit greener than he found it. Mario materializes on a planet with many cannons. Strangely, these cannons stick to bullet blasters and can bounce. Mario hits his head on a brick block to make the cannon slide upward to just the right place. Once he does, the cannons that shoot out can allow him to jump even higher to reach the top of each room. Each arena he comes up against is more difficult than the last. Some puzzles make him combine 2 cannons for a double jump upward. If he bounces the cannon in the wrong place, he can reset the room with a door to try again. With one final head-scratching puzzle, Mario can make it to the very top and finish his hunt on this planet. This works because the cannons actually attach to a frozen coin block overlapped with a one-way gate. An off-screen firebar on a track thaws the coin, leaving the cannon attached to the one-way gate. When Mario hits the brick block, the cannon can slide up to the bullet blaster instead. Mario finds himself in a cave on the next planet. He enters a room to find Ludwig making poor red Yoshi run endlessly for his amusement. Mario avoids purple Fruit Loop projectiles while he runs underneath to hit on-off switches. Each switch triggers the on-off conveyor belts to let Yoshi move forward one belt at a time. When Yoshi steps on a note block, it launches a giant spike ball to damage Ludwig. If Mario and Yoshi can hit 3 note blocks, this cereal-slinging boss is toast. Mario emerges in a new world that has tasty mushrooms. This spicy fungus gives Mario the power to stand on top of enemies. Mario needs to make his way downward to the bottom of a treacherous pit. A row of cannonballs is shot down, and Mario can surf on them. While he rides this falling cannon platform, he needs to dodge painful enemies and projectiles. Vines are extremely helpful here to help him avoid damage. Any damage will cause Mario to start all over. If he can avoid all of the enemies and spike traps, he can make it to the end to drop a stump through a bumper and open the exit. Instead of being able to leave this world, the portal sent him high into the sky. Using his Super Mario Bros. 2 fungus powers, he'll have an even tougher challenge. In this trial, cannons overlap on tracks and shoot out a steady stream of cannonballs. He needs to use them as ground to move forward. If he touches a cannonball with anything other than his feet, he will take damage and struggle to survive. He can jump up to get higher cannonball platforms or run to drop on lower platforms. Back on Mario's planet, stars are helpful items, but here they cause him to destroy his only hope to live. To make this setup, cannons are placed next to each other on diagonal tracks. As Mario runs, they all fall onto a single track, overlapping and creating this wild effect. Mario finally leaves that planet and tries to take a rest in a quiet house. He enters a room and is immediately greeted by mischievous ghosts. They force Mario to play their game. The boos show Mario what they're going to do on one side of the screen. Afterward, they use the same pattern and drop onto Mario. If he memorized the order in the pattern, he can safely dodge these enemies. Once Mario completes every challenge from these ghosts, he can continue his search for Blue Toad. To make this work, place boos on tracks above each room that have an open bottom end. On the left side, make sure the boos are in the same order, but give time in between. Mario emerges from the darkness on a much brighter planet. Here, Mario needs to fight his instincts from back home to avoid a spike ball. He will need to chase a giant spike ball that is directed with springs and twisters, or get smashed by the auto-scroll. Because springs and twisters change the route of the orb, Mario must carefully predict where it will be to avoid damage, but still follow the path. If Mario is quick and smart, he can finish investigating this area. Mario warps through a portal to a planet that is low gravity that reminds him of the night sky theme back home. He tries to slide on slopes and notices he can slide upwards if he runs fast enough. To make it through this place, he needs to slide up and get a bumper to bounce him for huge jumps. He can destroy enemies in his way and use conveyor belts to give him even more height and speed. If he's able to harness the great sliding potential of these gizmos, he can reach the top of this area and move on to the next. Mario appears in a vibrant forest world where he is only in shades of black and white. With this new look comes a cool Super Ball projectile he can use while on this planet. Mario needs to use the Super Ball to complete some puzzles and move through the dark forest. He will have to use on-off blocks to catch his Super Ball projectile, then release it at the perfect moment. If he can clear the pathway before releasing the Super Ball, the projectile can move through and trigger other gizmos. When the Super Ball is released, it always moves upward to the right, regardless of where it was headed before that. If Mario doesn't use our dotted line block trick, the munchers will enjoy a Super Ball snack. Once Mario fully explores this planet, he can leave. Back in the Mushroom Kingdom, Mario associates bullet blasters with launching painful things. In this world, Mario will need to use bullet blasters to survive. Giant Zappa Mecha Koopas periodically shoot laser beams to hurt Mario. His only hope is a bullet blaster on a track to come in and shield him from the damage. He needs to alternate moving from the bottom to the top and use a thwomp as an ally as well to make it through this dangerous hallway alive. Mario warps to a planet that looks like one giant bumper. He needs to make it through tough platforming areas in this one. To do so, he needs to get pushed through bumpers, which gives him a nice big jump. Gizmos like conveyor belts and bullet blasters can help push him through. Thwomps with springs can add speed and distance to his mighty jumps as well. If Mario can master his donut hops, he can check this planet off of his search. The ground trembles, and Mario appears in a spooky house. He thinks his eyes are playing tricks on him when he sees bullet blasters that can stretch and shrink smoothly. He needs to move beneath them quickly or get crushed into the ground. If he uses this crushing power to his advantage though, he can swish through bumpers to activate special items and leave this illusion. The way this one works is that a bullet blaster on a track falls behind a stationary bullet blaster. When they overlap, you can only see the bottom extending and the front of the top staying still. Mario snaps out of his hallucinations and is now in a dark house on the same planet. He tries to find a light switch, but can only find a brick block instead. When he hits it, POW blocks rain from the ceiling to illuminate more of the room. Through a few trials, he can safely make his way through this house. This one works because the brick block pushes a bullet blaster upward, which makes a spring hit an off-screen shelmet. That shelmet runs across note blocks that drop down the POW blocks across the room. Mario appears in a world that is completely ruled by thwomps. Jeff said that Blue Toad was in a thwomp jail, so he must be getting close. He decides to go undercover as a factory worker for a thwomp boss to search for Blue Toad in there. Mario's given tasks on what gizmos to deliver to Boss Thwomp. If Mario can solve the puzzle, he gets a key for more access to the factory. He needs to be fast because of the skewer timer in the top left of the screen. Also, if he accidentally activates a POW, the Thwomp boss makes him redo that assignment. Mario solves all of the puzzles and is teleported off of the planet Thwomptuine before he can explore it more. Someone or something is keeping him away. Mario's determined to find a way back to that Thwomp planet. He appears in a forest with Lemmy as the guardian. This Lemmy wants to push Mario into the spicy purple to keep him from going back to Thwomptuine. Every time Mario moves, Lemmy matches his movement. No matter how much he tries, he can never catch up to Lemmy to attack. Mario has to go through the level avoiding his bouncy projectiles and finally makes it to safety. This works because of the setup underneath the sludge. Lemmy's Muncher Tower stands on our good old cannon gizmo. The cannon is attached to a frozen coin block, which is on the surface of a one-way gate. The fire bar will burn the block right away, leaving the cannon attached to the one-way gate. The setup on the left uses the same idea, but with a lava bubble instead of a fire bar to melt the frozen block. The dry bones with a muncher on his head helps push the cannons to the right. All the munchers in Lakitu clouds detect Mario's location and move the setup accordingly. Sweaty Mario looks around to find himself on a hot lava planet. He needs to cool down and moves to the right. He steps on a bullet blaster and triggers an on-off switch. The bullet blaster moves with mega speed to launch Mario before it suddenly disappears. Mario needs to react quickly to keep momentum and make it through tricky areas. He finally moves through and makes it to a safe resting point. Hitting on-off blocks cause bob-ombs to explode, which trigger exclamation blocks underneath the lava. These push the blasters into the wall, which causes them to break. Mario is stuck on this planet for one more deadly trial. He needs to move even faster now. The lava is rising, which makes bob-ombs explode and trigger the exclamation blocks with or without Mario. If he slows down even for a millisecond, he'll get stuck as the molten cherry juice rises and makes him sticky. With Mario's speed and agility, he finally makes it to the end of these sweaty shenanigans. Mario appears on a trash planet with old, broken gizmos. Now that he's experienced, he decides to fix them up and build a vehicle to make it back to Thwomptuine. His first prototype launches him with a thwomp pushing a bullet blaster at mega speed and cannons attached in a horizontal line. Mario needs to dodge grinders and enemies with split-second reactions. He adapts the speedy ship to see what will finally work to travel between planets. Each vehicle is more powerful, but also more deadly. Now he needs to use the cannonballs strategically to gain more height to avoid spike traps. Multiple cannons at different heights give Mario a platform to move around on. If he can follow the coin trail quickly, he can get to the correct height to avoid danger, avoid icicles, and trigger on-off switches, all while tasting that sweet, sweet gold. In the final form of this gizmo car, Mario will have to jump up and down swiftly. Cannonballs shoot towards him while he moves at ludicrous speed. If he can think calmly and quickly, he can make it off this planet and go back to Thwomptuine. So how does this work? Well, the thwomp in the clown car gets triggered the moment Mario goes through the door. The note block and spring launch Mario into place, while the bullet blaster sits on a bridge. Each cannon is attached to a frozen coin block right next to a one-way gate. These fire bars instantly melt the frozen coin block and drop off a track, which makes the cannons attached to one-way gates. The lift on a track slides the cannon up to the correct height. When the thwomp moves at mega speed, he catches the bullet blaster on his head, and all the cannons are picked up along the way. When Mario arrives back on Thwomptuine, he encounters a message from King Thwomp himself. It simply says, "You're too late." Mario finds the Thwomp jail completely empty.